This week on Backpacker Get Out More TV, Steve and Jordan invite us to take a look at their North Carolina Smoky Mountain backyard before heading off to central Kentucky for an adventure in the Red River Gorge. Welcome back to Backpacker Get Out More TV. I'm your host, Randy Propster, and I am excited to take you on another journey this week into central Kentucky's Red River Gorge. Before we get started though, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and turn on that bell for notifications so you'll be informed when we come to you with some more content. Also, make sure that you are signing up for this week's weekly sweepstakes. We've got some amazing prizes from some awesome partners: Visit NC Smokies, Darn Tough, Jet Boil, Lakey, Mystery Ranch, Oboes, Sawyer Products, and Yellowstone Select have all donated prizes this week, and you can enter to win each and every week with a new opportunity to take home some amazing prizes. So please be sure that you do that. Also follow those links to find out more about the brands, the products, and the destinations that we feature each week, and leave us a comment. We are here to answer your questions. We also want to know what you'd like to see on an upcoming episode. We are here to inform you, we are here to inspire you, and that's just what we want to do right now. Before we get out to central Kentucky, let's have a look at where Steve and Jordan's inspiration comes from. Sometimes you can find inspiration a lot closer than you think, maybe even right in your backyard. And with a backyard like the Smokies of North Carolina, Steve and Jordan have plenty of inspiration to draw from. So I'm excited to have them give us a little more insight on what they call home.
We live on the North Carolina side of the Smokies, and we feel really lucky to have that as our backyard. There's lots of options of things to do, whether you want to go hike and sit on top of a mountain, whether you want to go fishing or tubing down a river. Also, there's some really cool breweries and places to eat in that area. So we love having that as our backyard, but this week we are leaving our backyard to head to the Red River Gorge. So let's go.
Feeling trippy? So why not get higher? We're talking in the mountains high. Where's your mind anyway? Clearly, you need a vacation. So take things to the next level. Don't just settle. Make it an adventure. Let loose. Lean in. Get strung along. And bring the family. It's that kind of place. Why the elk would you go anywhere else?
As you can see, they have plenty of beautiful places in that backyard of theirs to draw inspiration from. I look forward to learning more about Steve and Jordan's backyard as our season continues on. I also look forward to watching them hit the road for adventure this week as they travel over to central Kentucky and the Red River Gorge. Before they stopped into the gorge though, they had to make sure to check out what we like to think of as central Kentucky's outdoor headquarters, J&H Landmark, the outdoors store. They have been locally owned since 1972, right there in central Kentucky, and they have outfitted countless hikers for a Red River Gorge experience. Let's check in with Steve and Jordan's visit to J&H now over there in Lexington so that we can see how they prepared for this week's adventure in the Red River Gorge.
Hi, I'm Aaron from J&H Outdoors in Lexington, Kentucky. If you're in the Kentucky area, an obvious place to go to is the Red River Gorge, famous for arches, a lot of waterfalls. There's world-class climbing, minimal boating, but there are some underground boat tours, some zipline tours. So if you're comfortable on the ground, in the air, lots of different options to choose from. Yeah, a few things to keep in mind when you're going out, whether it's the first time or the 50th time. Moisture wicking gear is good, so wool socks, synthetic socks, avoid cotton. Anything that's quick drying will be helpful if you get caught in the rain or if it's summertime and there's a lot of humidity. The Red River Gorge is a rainforest, so it does get a lot of rain, so having a rain jacket, any type of rain gear is important. Yeah, be sure to take plenty of water. as always. Lots of snacks. Yeah, if you're in Lexington or close by, come and see us here at the shop. We offer obviously lots of gear to help prepare you for your outdoor adventures, whether it's a pass, if you want to stay overnight. We have maps, books, trail advice. Whether you're climbing or hiking, we have folks that like to do all those things, so we can find something to point you in the right direction to get you started. Yeah, also, if you're not if you can't make it into the shop, we have an online store, and we also take phone orders, so we're happy to help however we can.
We can't thank the team at J&H enough for making sure Steve and Jordan had all the information they needed about the Gorge trip that they were about to take. It really is important to get that local expert advice, which is why we think of these outfitters as the gateway to adventure. We also knew that as the trip got closer and closer, the chances of rain, well, they were imminent. And that being the case, we wanted to stop into another great shop, Benchmark Outdoor Outfitters, up in the Cincinnati area. They not only have the gear to offer to you, but they put that stuff to the test themselves, and they are more than happy to share their expert knowledge when you're preparing for your trip. Because we knew it was going to be pretty wet out there, we asked the team at Benchmark to bring us up to speed on this week's skills every backpacker should know, and let us in on some tips to keep not only ourselves, but our gear dry.
So the Benchmark's been here since the mid-70s, and we have a staff that is very well-rounded and has traveled all over the country and world, and are here to share your experiences and our experiences to get you ready for your next adventure. And of course, we've got all the apparel to make that as comfortable as possible.
Hi, my name's Emily, and I just wanted to highlight a topic that we regularly educate our customers on here at Benchmark. That is how to stay dry on the trail. So first off, you want to start with a moisture wicking base layer. You can either go synthetic or merino wool. This one happens to be synthetic. It dries very quickly. Merino wool is always a good option as well. You want to think about bringing 2 pairs of socks. Always go wool, not cotton. It's going to wick away moisture and dry super fast and help regulate the temperature in your body as well. Proper rain gear is essential. So a jacket that hopefully has pit zips is key because it's going to evaporate the moisture. You want rain pants as well that are going to zip up halfway or full way to slide over your boots. You want to make sure your tent is seam sealed before you go. Always set up your tent before a trip, whether it's a new tent or an old tent, but especially with older tents, make sure you run over the seams again with some seam sealer to ensure the waterproofing. Always think about dry sacks or pack covers to keep your gear on the inside of your pack dry. I always put my sleeping bag, whether it's synthetic or down, in a dry sack. Here at Benchmark, we sell waterproof maps. If you don't have a waterproof map of the section that you're going, you can get a waterproof map cover. I hope you find these tips helpful, so come on and see us for more information.
I hope that you have a shop near you similar to Benchmark Outdoor Outfitters where you can check in with the local experts and get the advice you need to ensure that your trip is going to go off as planned. Now, here's the best thing about what we want to do for you. We want to show off more great shops. We want to showcase more great experts. So please leave us a comment in the comment section below and tell us what your go-to shop is. Maybe a shop that you'd like to see us feature on a later episode. Now, as we learned, keeping yourself and your gear dry is really going to be important to your comfort. Keeping your feet dry, well, that's not always easy. You've got water crossings, you've got rainy days, and you've got sweaty feet, right? So it really is important that we have the right materials around our feet so that we can wick moisture away from our feet to the surface of the sock where it can dry fast. Materials, construction, design, all critical elements to making sure that your feet are as comfortable as possible, and I assure you, comfortable feet go a long way to an enjoyable hiking experience. sometimes we can learn a lot if we just let the gear talk. And that's exactly what we want to do this week with the Darn Tough Treeline Micro Crew. We're going to allow it to speak for itself with an episode segment we like to call Just the Specs.
I want to talk to you guys about just the specs of the Nobo Micro Crew Cushion Socks this week by Darn Tough. All of Darn Tough socks come with different levels of cushion that you can get on your socks, and these socks specifically come with a mid-level cushion under the foot for extra support and extra comfort. And lastly, the material makeup of these socks are 61% merino wool, 37% nylon, and 2% spandex. So you've got that combination so that they are stretchy, they stay up on your leg, which is really important. And you've got the wool, obviously, which has the antimicrobial moisture wicking properties. So overall, really great sock, not to mention these come in 3 different color options too. So there's just the specs. You can't take full advantage of hiking if you don't take good care of your feet, and that's why we love Darn Tough socks so much. They offer a variety of colors and designs for men and women. They're super comfortable because they're made from merino wool blend that's also antimicrobial so they don't get funky. And best of all, the socks are so durable that Darn Tough offers a lifetime warranty. To learn more about Darn Tough socks, go to darntough.com or click the link in the description below.
Have you checked out the specs in your socks lately? Are your feet as comfortable as they could be? Would you like to go home with a pair of Darn Tough socks? I bet you would, which is exactly what we want to do. We want to send you to your home a pair of Darn Tough socks. If you comment in the comment section below right now and share with us your sock nightmare. Tell us why your feet aren't as comfortable as they should and could be, and we may just pick you as a lucky winner of a pair of Darn Tough socks. In addition to having comfortable feet, it is really important to have confidence on trail. And one of my favorite confidence-adding pieces of equipment is a set of Lecky trekking poles. It's amazing how 4 points of contact can really do a lot to help you avoid those falls, slips, maybe even the pitfall of a twisted ankle, which is why we're going to feature the Lecky trekking poles in this week's edition of Dodging Pitfalls.
All right, friends, let's talk dodging the pitfall of a potential rolled or sprained ankle. If you're ever on the trail and you're looking up at the gorgeous views and you just so happen to feel your ankle start to slide off a rock or a root, you can transfer the weight of your body to your trekking poles and kind of save yourself from having all that weight get applied to the mishap.
Lecky trekking poles are a great addition to your pack to help with extra stability and help take the pressure off your knees and ankles. Lecky trekking poles come in a variety of lightweight materials and styles. The innovative handles are super comfortable and they offer a unique adjustable strap system. Plus, they break down really easily to store in your pack when you're not using them. To learn more about the products from Lecky, head on over to lecky.com or click the link in the description below.
Between comfort and confidence, adding those elements to your trail experience is going to go a long way to making sure you have an enjoyable trip. This trip that Steve and Jordan are about to embark on into the Red River Gorge, it offers spectacular views, typically, but they knew rain was coming. I just hope they had a chance for that rain to hold off long enough to see some of those beautiful double arch, haystack rock, courthouse rock. Some of those features are absolutely spectacular. And the sheer cliffs on either side of the ridge, the Auxier Ridge where they were going to be backpacking this week, are absolutely spectacular. I've explored that area myself and I would love to go back. I'm really hoping that Steve and Jordan have a great time out there on trail, and as a matter of fact, we should join them now because their adventure in the Red River Gorge is beginning.
All right, so last night we got to Kentucky, slept in the car, and got some intel today. We are at Auxier Ridge trailhead. We're gonna hike about 2 miles into the ridge, just camp for the night and see what we can see. It's looking a little stormy, but we're feeling optimistic that it'll hold off. Tomorrow we're going to do a section of the Sheltowee Trace Trail, which we're really excited about.
We're not actually feeling that optimistic. It's totally gonna rain.
Yeah.
We're totally gonna test out.
Put good vibes about the rain.
I'm wearing my bathing suit.
Yikes. Got our first little taste of views out there. It's a super cool sandy trail. Digging it so far.
No rain yet either. Red River Gorge, first trail, Auxier Ridge. Hope I'm saying that right. Super lush in here. Kind of reminds me of home. A lot more sandstone. The trails are a little tinged with sand and red dirt, kind of.
Yeah, it's a very soft trail.
Feels good, yeah.
It's nice.
Might be them darn tough socks, I don't know.
It looks like Steve and Jordan are in for a wet trip this time around in the Red River Gorge, but it's still a spectacular landscape, and that geology is worth the visit even in rainy conditions. A little bit farther to the west in Kentucky, central southern Kentucky, over in Lebanon, you'll find another unique geologic feature that helps the folks at Limestone Branch Distillery have just the right ingredients to bring to life Yellowstone Select bourbon. Yellowstone Select is a pretty spectacular product for multiple reasons. One, it's awfully tasty, but two, every bottle sold, a portion of the proceeds are going to go to the National Parks Conservation Fund. So by drinking some bourbon, you're helping out our national parks. Win-win. Steve and Jordan, while they were in Kentucky, couldn't not go pay a visit to Limestone Branch Distillery to join Steve Beam and his 7th generation family of distillers to see just how they go about the process of distilling up some really tasty Yellowstone Select bourbon.
Hello folks, welcome to Limestone Branch Distillery. Can't wait to show you Yellowstone. Come on in.
So I'm Steve Beam, and welcome to Limestone Branch Distillery. We're in Lebanon, Kentucky, which is the heart of Kentucky, the very center of Kentucky, right in bourbon country. And we started this journey in 2010. That said, our family's been making whiskey here in Kentucky since the 1700s. So we were really excited to bring our family back into the distilling business, and exceptionally happy to bring one of my mother's family's brands back, Yellowstone, and be able to bring that into our distillery. So we work with the National Parks Conservation Association, which is a very old steward of the parks, and donate money with them. And it's important to know that while our name is Yellowstone and we support Yellowstone, that money goes to support all the park systems. National Parks Conservation Association does great work in all the different parks. So we're located on 15 acres here in the heart of Kentucky, and we do our tours and tastings. We have a great front porch for cocktails, and we have a cigar patio, so come down and spend some time. We'd love to have you.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
This is awesome.
Cheers to backpacking.
Yeah.
And whiskey.
It's a really special thing when good deeds and good bourbon come together, and that's exactly what you get in a bottle of Yellowstone Select Kentucky bourbon. Steve Beam and his team of distillers have a really special thing going on there in Lebanon, Kentucky. So special that while we were there, there was no way we couldn't have their team of mixologists put together a special recipe just for us, a recipe we want to share with you. A recipe that is called a bacon bourbon Bloody Mary. Sounds absolutely spectacular, a work of art indeed. So let's take a look at this week's trail mixology with that bacon bourbon Bloody Mary recipe.
So we're going to make the bourbon bacon Bloody Mary, made with the Yellowstone bourbon. I like this cocktail because it's the bacon, salt, the bourbon, it just comes real good on the palate. A little bit of smokiness to it. Makes it a real great tasting cocktail. So we're gonna get started with our Yellowstone bourbon. It's 2 ounces of Yellowstone. And then we'll do 3 ounces of our Kentucky Bloody Mary mix. Before we add our ice, we'll go ahead and rim our glass in the hickory smoked bacon salt. And we're just using a little bit of sweetened lime juice, and then of course the hickory smoked bacon salt. We'll throw a little ice into that. And then we'll ice down our stuff here. Give it a couple of mixes. And then we're just going to strain it over into the iced cocktail glass. Olive. And a couple of shakes of baking salt. And there he is, Limestone Branch Distillery, Bourbon Bacon Bloody Mary.
What do you think?
It's so good. It's delicious.
Yellowstone Bourbon is handcrafted in the state of Kentucky. These small batch whiskeys are the work of 7th generation craftsmen, resulting in a unique taste, perfect for the trail. Plus, a portion of every bottle sold goes to helping preserve our national parks. Cheers to that. To learn more about the products from Yellowstone Bourbon, head on over to limestonebranch.com or click the link in the description below.
I mean, what a recipe, right? Bacon, bourbon, Bloody Mary, a meal in a glass, a work of art indeed. It makes me hungry, which is why I'm excited that the next segment is What's Cooking. We're gonna take a look at how Steve and Jordan bring the sausage hoagie with green peppers and onions to life out there on trail.
This week's trail food is sausage hoagies, and they are good. So, what you're gonna need is the sausage, obviously. You're gonna want a pepper of some kind. You can pick what color you want. And then these shallots or a red onion if you prefer a taste there. You're also gonna want some coarse ground Dijon mustard. I would recommend, again, putting this in a smaller container if you don't wanna carry this massive jug. And then the last ingredient is a bit trickier. So you're gonna need the buns for the hoagies. And anytime that you bring bread into the backcountry is kind of a gamble, right? So usually you're either agreeing to the fact that your bread's gonna get squished, or you have to be really, really careful with it. So what I've done with these is put them in a bag and let a little bit of air stay in them. And I'm gonna put them in the lid of my pack too. That way, that's kind of their best chance of not getting squished.
That is absolute deliciousness right there. I tell you, bringing a good meal with you out into the backcountry, it's something that everyone should put into their plan when you're preparing for your adventure. You want to have the tasty meal, but you don't want to be the tasty meal. And that is when we make sure we avoid bug bites, right? There are animals out there hunting you. People ask me all the time, what wildlife do you fear? And while I don't like to use the word fear, I much prefer to use the word respect. I always give animals plenty of room. I don't approach too closely, and I just make sure that I let them live their life as a guest in their home. But when it comes to those bugs, sometimes they don't want to be left alone. Sometimes they want to search us out for a meal, and we need to do all we can to avoid them. So we stopped in to Quest Outdoors over in Louisville, Kentucky, the western side of Kentucky, to check in with their local experts who have an entire portion of their shop dedicated to the equipment and the gear that you would need in the Red River Gorge, including some equipment from Sawyer Products that can help us keep the bugs at bay as we take a look at this week's Forgotten Features.
I'm Scott Newsom, and I'm with Quest Outdoors here in Louisville, Kentucky. We're an outdoor retailer specializing in outdoor apparel, camping gear, climbing gear, and paddle sports. Whoever thought a little pesky critter like a mosquito or a tick would be such a villain to us and cause us trouble down the road? Customers always ask, what product do you use? And the product that I stand behind and use on my bicycle gear for mountain biking or my hiking clothes when I'm out on the trail at places like the Red River Gorge or down at Mammoth Cave National Park, I always use Sawyer's insect repellent, permethrin. I find it easy to use. I spray down my clothing, my gear, my tent, my sleeping pad, my socks, my shoes. So the way you apply the Sawyer permethrin is really simple. It comes in a spray bottle, and what you want to do is you want to pick out the clothing that you're going to be retreating or your gear, and you want to head towards a well-ventilated area. Maybe your basement, a garage, or go outside on a windy day. You just want to minimize your exposure to it. And the way I use it, I take the spray bottle and I will hold it 6 or 8 inches away from the garment that I'm going to treat, maybe like the shirt that I have on, and I'm going to spray it until it shows that it's been applied. It will be maybe a little bit wet. I like to focus personally on things like your placid, around your neck collar, around your cuffs, around the hem, around waistbands, around the bottom of your shorts or your long pants. These are the first areas that the insects, ticks, mosquitoes, chiggers, things like that, are going to enter your clothing. So that's really your best and first defense for keeping it away.
From staying hydrated to staying bug-free, Sawyer products have been a staple in my pack for years now. Today we're taking a look at Sawyer water filtration systems. Whether you choose to squeeze or let gravity do the work, staying hydrated is a key part of backpacking. And with their lightweight design and ease of use, they've become my favorite pick for the backcountry. To learn more about these or any of Sawyer's products, head on over to sawyer.com or visit the link in the description below.
Keeping the bugs at bay, that's part of a system I like to think of as sun and skin protection. One of the essential systems that we should all consider when we're preparing for a backpacking trip. I'm thankful for the folks over at Quest Outdoors. The local experts are the go-to for a gateway to adventure. So please make sure you are utilizing your local retailer for all of the advice and knowledge that they have to offer. In addition to making sure that they kept the bugs at bay, Steve and Jordan definitely had to do all they could to keep the rain away. And they found that those cliffs that overhang in the Red River Gorge are more than just spectacular views. They're a great place to hide out from the rain. And when the trail starts to look more like a creek than a trail itself, well, then you know it's raining something serious. So let's check in now with Steve and Jordan back on trail to see how they're handling those wet conditions.
So got our tent set up for the evening. It was looking like it was about to start raining, so we decided to just kind of grab the first spot we found, but this is a pretty sweet spot. It's a nice sandy, flat area, and the views are hard to beat. So I think it's gonna be a good spot for the night.
Ourselves a little arch.
A little oasis from the rain.
It is coming down out there, y'all. Look at these cool little rock cliffs. We are past the point of waterproof. Everything is wet.
We've got some new trail intel. We were told that there is no water on this trail, but if it rains a lot, the entire trail becomes water, so. We are coming at you from a hotel now. There's nothing like hiking in a torrential downpour of cold rain that makes you want a warm shower. So we had a bit of an interesting evening actually. Our tent broke on us kind of in the middle of the night, and so we had to use our trekking poles to hold up the rain fly and just the structure of the tent. It actually ended up working really well. We stayed pretty dry, but packing it out and hiking out was pretty much in a complete downpour. So we were really lucky enough to have Daniel Boone Coffee Shop let us hang out for hours. I got to journal, Steve got to catch up on some computer work, and we got to just dry out some. So, and then we got to come have a nice warm shower. Moving forward, we have bought some new equipment so that if it does rain, we can still get video footage. But that's pretty much what happened to us over the past few hours. So sometimes it rains, sometimes you can't avoid that. It was still overall a really good time, I think.
When you can keep a smile on your face, even when facing adverse conditions, that's when you know you're generating some memories that are going to be hard to forget. And I love the fact that Steve and Jordan had a great time even in those soggy conditions. Sometimes it's informing you about some local knowledge, sometimes it's making sure that we're teaching you a skill, other times it's ensuring that you have the right gear, and sometimes it's an upgrade that can make all the difference. Swapping out from something old to something new can really change the experience, and we want to make sure that if you're going to take a hike, even just a day hike into the Red River Gorge, that you have a pack that can help you be more comfortable. So for this week's edition of Instant Upgrades, we're going to take a look at the Mystery Ranch Scree 32. A new pack that will leave your old book bag in the dust.
When I first started hiking, I just used my school backpack because I thought that would work, and it worked okay. But for those of you that are still using an old school backpack, or maybe your hiking pack that you're using is really worn and you need a new one, now's the time to instantly upgrade to the Mystery Ranch Scree 32. I love this pack because it's large enough for a really intense day hike. It's actually large enough too if you were doing a quick overnight, you could use it for that as well. And the reason that you should upgrade from your book bag to an actual day pack is that day packs are specifically made for hiking. So they have features for hiking purposes specifically, such as the hydration pocket here. You've also got lid pockets, tons of options for organization. And my favorite thing personally is this giant zip that goes all the way down so that you can actually open up the entire pack and find things a lot more easily in it. Having a pack that is made for the sport that you're doing can make a really big difference in your ability to enjoy the trip itself. So Mystery Ranch has a pack for every occasion. The Mystery Ranch Scree 32 is your perfect long day hike or even short overnight hike.
Mystery Ranch is on a mission to make the world's best backpacks for a wide variety of outdoor enthusiasts. Built to be extremely configurable with a concentration on organization and accessibility. Plus, these bags are bomb-proof. They are purpose-built to assure not only usability, but durability. To learn more about Mystery Ranch backpacks, visit mysteryranch.com or check out the links in the description below.
Do you have an instant upgrade you'd like to share with us? Please share it in the comments below, and there's a chance that we'll feature your instant upgrade on a future episode. During episode 2, Steve gave us an instant upgrade when he was talking about the benefits of better boots, better footwear when you're out there on trail. In the last couple of weeks, Many of you have asked for more details. What is that boot all about? A boot from Oboz that actually graced the cover of Backpacker's 2020 Gear Guide. And so we have decided to give you those details in this week's Closer Look. But before we do that, I want to take another closer look this week. And it's at a great organization called City Mountaineers. If you're not familiar, you're going to learn all about them right now, because I'm so fortunate to have had a chance to sit down with Megan Aranow this week to discuss how this organization has been powerfully transforming lives with the great outdoors for the last 30 years. So super excited to take a closer look at Big City Mountaineers. So I am extremely excited, as I said, to have Megan Aranow with me from Big City Mountaineers, an organization that, again, for 30 years, transforming lives using the power of the outdoors, going into disinvested communities. And I would love for you to share with our audience a little more about Big City Mountaineers, about the organization, your role with the organization, and how eventually we can all help you guys with the great cause that you're trying to serve. So tell me a little bit about what Big City Mountaineers is up to.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Randy. It's really great to be here. So I am Megan Aranow. I'm the Director of Strategic Partnerships at Big City Mountaineers. And like Randy mentioned, we've been around for over 30 years at this point. We partner with youth development agencies in 7 different cities across the country to provide different types of outdoor programming for youth from disinvested communities. We like to say that we break down barriers to outdoor access for those youth. And some of the ways that we do that is that all of our programs are completely free for participants. They're all led by professional guides with their certifications, and they're all fully outfitted, which is something that we're able to do with a lot of really great sponsorship and help from brands and companies within the outdoor industry, along with a ton of other folks, volunteers that come together to make these programs possible.
And it's a fantastic organization. It really is. You guys are doing great things. When we say transforming lives, a lot of these kids, kids and teens that are having these experiences, that are going with these guides, zero cost to them, getting out in the outdoors, for a lot of them, it's the first time that they've had a chance to experience camping, experience a night under the stars, experience a connection to wilderness. And so I think that's a really key aspect of the transformation that you speak of. And we talk about the kids and where they're coming from and the 7 cities that you work with. And we are using that language, disinvested communities. And I think it's important. Obviously, right now the world has changed, right? COVID is impacting everything. We're having a spotlight placed on social injustice like we've never had before. And I think that's fantastic. And I know you guys have been working with disinvested communities your entire history. And so it's something that you probably are thinking about as well more than ever. And I'd love to hear your take on that role that you play and that role that we can all play to help these communities experience the outdoors the way that you guys do.
Yeah, thanks for asking. There's a lot going on right now, and BCM, even with our history of serving these communities for a long, long time, is doing a lot of soul searching and a lot of reckoning to acknowledge the current and ongoing social injustice that we see. So at BCM, we feel that it's really important to acknowledge and kind of keep at the forefront of our work the fact that communities across the U.S. definitely have not shared the same level of investment and access to resources over time. And one resource that BCM is especially focused on, obviously, is access to the outdoors and the multitude of benefits that we get as people from spending time in nature, from spending time away from the busyness, the hecticness of sort of modern day life. So we really believe that time outdoors is a critical resource, and that it's really important for all folks to have access to that. And I think we've felt that even more in the time of COVID-19, how being able to just even take a step outside your door and get some fresh air and a little bit of a change of perspective is crucial for mental and physical well-being.
It's amazing, that connection, and to think that there are individuals that just haven't had an opportunity. And I love that you're breaking down those barriers and proving that chance for access. And I know we can help. I know that everybody in our audience can help. And it's donate now. We're going to put that link up on the screen for sure. But also, you've got some great avenues that allow us to get involved and feel like we're a part of this as we're impacting the lives of these children and teens. And like I said earlier, I know I loved doing a Summit for Someone hike, had a chance to climb Long's Peak, go up there with Eric Larson, Polar Explorer, and another handful of folks. And it was all part of raising money for Big City Mountaineers. So tell me a few of those avenues, ways that our audience can get involved, ways that we can help raise the funds that will allow us to invest in these communities that just haven't had that access and opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's actually a number of ways that folks can get involved at BCM. Like I mentioned before, we are very reliant on volunteer support. That's perhaps a different avenue to support than we're going to mostly talk about here. From a fundraising standpoint, it's, I think, important to understand, like I mentioned before, that BCM programs are completely free of charge for everyone, every youth that gets involved. So that means we have a huge need to fundraise to make our programs possible to put on. One of the ways is a program called Summit for Someone. Summit for Someone in a normal year, this year's a little bit different with COVID, but in a typical year, Summit for Someone, an adventure fundraising program, is responsible for providing about 25% of BCM's operating revenue in a given year. So what we mean by adventure fundraising, this is an opportunity for folks who love the outdoors, have spent time on their own adventures, and have really felt the personal transformative power that those experiences can have, and are motivated to use their opportunities to adventure to give back similar experiences to youth. So
I love it.
It's a pretty simple model. So basically, it's pick an adventure, pick a fundraising commitment, go do it. And in short, that's what it is.
I love it. It's fantastic. And we're celebrating that entire concept. We're celebrating your organization. We're celebrating that idea of tackling a summit this Saturday. So August 1st is National Summit Day. Backpacker and Big City Mountaineers, this is the third year now we've teamed up to do this. Obviously, as we alluded to earlier, the world has changed, right? COVID-19 is playing an impact. As we said, social injustice is in the spotlight. But we also know that gathering groups of large folks together to go tackle summits is just not safe right now. And so we recognize that. We've asked that folks still participate and still celebrate summits, still celebrate Big City Mountaineers, but we're going to do it in a way that's maybe you can go out and tackle your own summit. Maybe your summit is some metaphorical challenge. Maybe it's working on something that's been a challenge in your life that you can dedicate some time to Saturday during the day, and then come join all of us Saturday afternoon. We're going to go from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That window of time, we're going to have a live event on Backpackers Facebook Live channel that's going to allow us to have yoga instruction and stories from summits and some great live music for some great bands. We've got Floyd Fest, a great, and Across the Way Productions providing some awesome musical talent. GCI Outdoors providing a ton of great prizes. We're going to be giving away a bunch of cool stuff to folks that join us for that live event. So I'm extremely excited about that. I know that you guys love that partnership that we've maintained over the years, and we just look forward to celebrating it again this week. So Megan, I really am thankful that you gave us a chance to talk with you this week. Please continue doing the great work you're doing. I know that it's a passion play for you. You see the impact, you see those kids and teens' lives changing, and there's no way that you can't want to continue down that path. I guarantee it. So thank you for what you're doing. Thank you to Big City Mountaineers. We look forward to celebrating this Saturday, August 1st. Join us on Facebook Live at Backpackers Channel, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Mountain Time, and we'll celebrate. We'll have a chance to donate, chance to win some great prizes. Come join us. Thank you again, Megan.
Absolutely. Thanks, Randy. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. So I can't thank Megan enough and the team at Big City Mountaineers for all of the amazing work that they're doing to help create access for disinvested communities. I absolutely love it. Wonderful way to take a closer look this week. And we're going to take another closer look this week. As a matter of fact, we're going to take a closer look at those Oboz shoes that graced the cover of Backpacker's Gear Guide. And we're going to allow Steve to tell us all about the Oboz Elite Mid in this week's gear version of our closer look.
All right, this week we're taking a closer look at Oboz footwear, the design and the reason why they make the boots the way they do. John Connolly of Oboz, the founder, traveled a whole lot in the 90s, and everywhere he went in the airports he took samples and sizes and measured everybody's feet he could convince to do so. He took that data and realized that 70% of Americans, their foot had a smaller heel with a wider foot. So this V design kind of stays true through the Oboz lineup. Now even if you have a wider foot, they make a wider shoe, but it still holds true to that tighter spot in the heel. Now I'm a big fan of this design because it locks my heel into place, the parts of the boot that need to move, and the rest keeps my foot protected.
Oboz footwear. We plant a tree for every pair sold. 1 million and counting. That's a lot of f***ing trees.
Now that you've taken a closer look, how would you like to win a pair of those Oboz? Maybe a pair of Lakey trekking poles? Maybe a Jetboil stove? Sound like something that you would enjoy? Yeah, I thought so. Add in some prizes from everybody from Mystery Ranch to Visit North Carolina Smokies, everybody from Sawyer Products to Yellowstone Select Kentucky Bourbon, and you're talking about a pretty spectacular prize pack. And we want you to sign up now. There's a link in the description below that will allow you to sign up for this week's weekly giveaway. We're giving away gear every week. You can sign up every week for your chance to win, and we want you to do so. No, like right now, do so. Go ahead, I'll wait. Seriously, you should sign up. It's a great prize pack. We've really enjoyed having you this week. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's edition of Backpacker Get Out More TV. We're going to send you away with a little flavor of Haywood County, North Carolina, the hometown of our ambassadors, Steve and Jordan. We're going to show you some tunes and show you some sights that you might see on your visit to that beautiful stretch of Smokies in North Carolina. And then next week, come back and join us. We're going to take an adventure into the Adirondack Mountains of New York. I'm excited to have you come back and see just how that turns out as well. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week on Backpacker Get Out More TV.
Years for the Depression, Peter Thompson staked his claim in a little mountain town. Kenton was her name. Told everyone that was willing, steady work would be their reward. So they started making paper where the Pigeon River fords. But this ain't just another paper town on a random riverside. She was built with blood, sweat, and tears, and a whole lot of pride. From the mountains and the farmlands, around the smokestack she has grown. This ain't just another paper town, it's the one that I call home. Street was crashing, the mill kept going strong, while Hitler's war was raging. Everyone worked twice as long. There's been mergers and sellouts, layoffs when times got tough. Talks about pollution, then cleaning the river up. This ain't just another paper town somewhere along the tracks. She's seen her share of ups and downs and always bounces back. From the mountains and the farmlands, around the smokestack she has grown. This ain't just another paper town, it's the one that I call home. Off to college, bound to do things their own way. Through every generation, her influence is clear. She's taken care of young and old for over 100 years. This ain't just another paper town, it's part of who I am, molding me as a little boy so I could be a better man. From the mountains and the farmlands, around the smokestack she has grown. This ain't just another paper town, it's the one that I call home. This ain't just another paper town, it's the one that